And hello, Endless Void. What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Comics Undone. I am Shell, and I'm glad that you're here because we have a lot to unpack. If you have already clicked on the thumbnail, if you're here for the live, then you already know what's going on. If you clicked on the thumbnail, then hopefully you know what's going on. Hopefully I put on the right type of what is going on, everyone. Welcome to hopefully I put on the right type of thumbnail for this news. Now, basically what we're going to be doing is I have 30 minutes on the clock. I'm going to be putting that down so we have 30 minutes to talk about exactly what's going on. In my day job, I report on movies and comics. Now, this came across my desk and I absolutely had to unpack this a bit more because this took me to another place when I was a kid. It just got me in the feels, yo. So let's get into this right now. Basically, what we are talking about here is Daniel Radcliffe. Yes, Harry Potter. Rumors of him playing Wolverine. So, that's a lot to unpack on its own, I gotta say. I don't think anyone ever pictured little Harry, little Potter, ever being fan cast as Wolverine. That being said, if you aren't up to speed on what Daniel Radcliffe has been up to lately, he is ripped. Like, absolutely ripped. He's doing a TV show right now. Let's see here. It is, I believe it's sourced in the article. Let's find out here. Something about Miracle. Here, let's find out here. Daniel Radcliffe. I think it's Miracle Workers. I believe it is. Yes, it is. Okay, so let's bring up some images here. I want you guys to see exactly what, like, look at that. Like, that's absolutely insane. That is crazy. So maybe there's a little bit of explanation behind this, these odd photos of Mr. Harry Potter. So I haven't caught up with this show. So all I know about it from it is what I've read in articles. It seems to be it's about like a family kind of or a love story. All of it takes place in a post-apocalyptic world, and Daniel Radcliffe plays one of the main characters here. And so yeah, you're in the post-apocalypse. So I guess you either got to get ripped or you're food for someone else. I don't know. I'm not sure. The thing that surprises me the most is like here, like this just stood out to me. I thought this was kind of funny when I was when I was making the video at work. So I work for Screen Rant. Every day we just make a bunch of movie, video game, or comic book videos, different assignments. So we just we're given the articles, then we look into these stuff, and then we make up our news video for the day. And like I said, this came across my desk, and usually, like, I want to dive into ones that I know a lot about. But sometimes I'll grab one just because it's super interesting, or you know, harkens back to stuff I used to watch or used to collect. So with this one, yeah, okay, obviously I'm a big comic book fan, so there's that. But come on, you know, like when you have images like that. Like that's crazy, right? Like when we think of like little Harry Potter on his broom playing, what was it, Quidditch. I'm not researching in real time, so everything's off of memory right now. Now in this show, yeah, it takes place in the post-apocalypse, so everything looks pretty rough, right? You know, torn, like clothes are all torn, everything's pretty, you know, dirty, understandably. I mean, I imagine laundry is probably maybe on the lower end of the totem pole of priorities in the post-apocalypse. I don't know. Haven't been there yet. Don't really plan on it. However, look at how these tidy whities, man, they are white. Like, those are white. Those are pristine. Like, you'd be hard pressed to find someone like in like non-apocalypse with with underwear like looking that pristine. So unless in this episode, maybe that's the highlight. Maybe that's what he's doing. Like maybe he was traded underwear and he's like, look at the. Anyways, we're way off here. So Daniel Radcliffe. This is the reason why he's being fan cast, or a lot of people are fan casting him as Wolverine, because in all fairness, physically, absolute potential. Just drinking a little tea, guys. Now I know we're going from Hugh Jackman, to Harry Potter. Sure, that is a massive leap. I get it. But there's a lot more behind the Daniel Radcliffe fan casting than just like a surface idea of just like, oh yeah, he's ripped now. Now, it already, a lot of fans are split on this. Before we get to what he said about this, because he's actually now addressed this officially. It's only been in the past couple days. But now the reason why he has been fan cast as this is, first and foremost, if you're a Wolverine fan, then you already know that as much as Hugh Jackman was amazing as Wolverine, physically he's absolutely nothing like him. Like Wolverine's supposed to be a super short guy, and he's also not supposed to be like attractive. Like he's supposed to be pretty rough around the edges. To give you an idea of when I say he's supposed to look a little rough, before they actually cast any of the X-Men in the X-Men movies, and people were fan casting back in the day. Now this is before there was websites were absolutely in their infancy. Okay, like we're not even using Google at this point. We're asking Jeeves. Now, if anyone knows what that means, then dang, you with me, you old. So back then, before the movie was created, and the magazine that was the go-to magazine for this, Wizard, everyone would go to the Wizard magazine. I had the issue, and the reason why it stands out to me as well is because a lot of times in Wizard magazines, they would release one-off comics would be inside, and they'd be a zero issue. And that's the only way you can get these zero issues. So they usually wouldn't have a story. A lot of them would be character profiles. So for this one, I think it was like either like Wildcats, if anyone knows Wildcats. Wow, it was either, I think it was Wildcats. Anyhow, so the fan casting back in the early 90s for the X-Men before Hugh Jackman, like I said, not supposed to look like Hugh Jackman. So we're talking Bob Hoskins. Bob Hoskins was actually the number one. Do you guys know who Bob Hoskins is here? For people who don't know who Bob Hoskins is, y'all gotta see who Hoskins is. I'm sure you do. He's an amazing actor. I mean, he was when I say the original Mario, the original live action Mario, I mean, he didn't write it, guys. Like let's not hold him responsible for that. But other movies, oh man, like I think it was like in the Super, that was really, really great. Well, here we go in Captain Hook, phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. He was in a Jet Li movie. I think it was like Unleashed or something. It was great. I mean, it's Jet Li, I mean, there he is holding. Okay, yeah, Boston Globe. Oh man. Okay, someone told me this, that yeah, he had passed a little while ago. I did not know. Man, he was great. You know what? Another great movie. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Hello, great movie. Anyways, Bob Hoskins was at the top of the list. Him and the second choice. The second choice. You'll never believe this. Oh yeah. Yep. Dirty Harry himself. I mean, this is him now. So, like, at that point, I think we were dealing more with, let's see, actually, hold on a second. 1990, let's find out. Yeah. Hey. Totally. I Okay, maybe I'm saying that with a little too much enthusiasm. In all fairness, I still Bob Hoskins. I prefer Bob Hoskins, but I see what was happening here. You know, like this is if we're going to actually go, um, let's say Wolverine comics. I mean not short because they'll probably bring up a video. Let's just say 80s. Yeah, 80s. Kind of stockier, you know. Like I mean, we're definitely not in the area of getting like Hugh Jackman vibes, you know. Um, this seems actually a bit more of his transition because this is not so bad. Like this is like definitely the evolution into the 90s one that everyone kind of knows. Like, you know, this is more iconic, right? We're going to this kind of 90s Wolverine. So let's do 70s. Let's go back. Let's go back. We're going to go back in time. Let's see why. There we go. This is actually pretty good. Oh, this is great. All right. There we go. Well, that's not super big, but yeah, but at least that's kind of showing the, I was going to say the evolution of him, but they've done some interesting stuff to him as well here too. But you can kind of see that they are emphasizing a bit more on the stocky side, you know. I'm trying to see if there's like anything that's a bit more, maybe here when he first came out, first Wolverine. Let's see. Oh yeah, right? Iconic. Like even like look at these images. Like the mask doesn't even look anywhere near. Oh, that's a pretty good. Oh, this is a good one. Let's look at this. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. That's pretty dope. Um I mean, I guess like like I absolutely I love all comics. I or not all comics, but you know, I love comics, man. Like, but I, like what's with this nose, man? And he has whiskers. Like, definitely, you know, in 70, so the 1974 to 1975, they somebody took the pencil away from the original artist and said, like, you know, I see where you're going, but let's make a couple tweaks, you know. Like everything's still there. It's really interesting. Like, even I've never really focused too much on this before, but maybe because it's so prominent, like that belt, it doesn't it even look like, it looks like a weightlifting belt. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe something to stabilize his core. Maybe there's a video out there. If someone could explain, hey, explain the science behind why they chose such absolute abhorrent costumes. Like, I'm all for like, you know, reminiscing and going back, but that's something we don't need to go back to. Anyhow, but I think that's why originally that's why we are going back to like Daniel Radcliffe as a fan cast, because he's a smaller guy, you know, and now seeing that like he's ripped, man, like absolutely ripped. I think he said something about like I didn't know this about him, but like I guess apparently his parents are like really big into fitness or like being really healthy and stuff. So I guess that really rubbed off on him. Let's see, Brad Cliff. I'm just gonna put ripped. Let's see what comes up for. Okay, well we saw those, and yeah, absolutely. But there's like even some model pics. Like, look at this. Like, good for him. And the cool thing is like it's addressed in the article. Like he's actually asked, you know, is one of the reasons why you're getting so ripped, is that for the X-Men? You know, is that for Wolverine? And he addresses that. Okay, so here he says, no, yes. Um, I got buff because I'm obsessive and I want to. You see my parents. They're like insane fitness people. So that's just been passed on. But no, 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 no. Wolverine flattered, but no. So I mean, it's not like he even danced around it. Like he legitimately outright said, "Me, Wolverine, no." I mean, I ultimately want to think that from him saying that that's the truth, you know? That he's not going to be cast. And looks like that would make a lot of people happy. I actually wouldn't mind seeing him as Wolverine. It really also depends on, okay, why he'd make a good Wolverine. Size? Absolutely. Acting chops? Absolutely. Like even physicality? Yeah, sure. I also think that he is in his prime right now for doing these type of heavy action involved type of productions. So if there's ever going to be a time where he's going to be involved in these type of IPs, now is that time. So from at least just from a career standpoint, this is the time for him to make that push. I don't know who up front I can right away see him cast as like anyone else in the MCU. The only other person that I think that he'd be good, I'll leave that to the end. Now, okay, so yeah, those are the reason why I think that he'd be great as Wolverine. He definitely could act the part, physicality, like athletic ability, and yeah, physique, right? Now, why I don't think he'd work, and it's two things. It's only two things, and I think both could be addressed. First, he's still kind of pretty, like, and that's not me, like, that's not a slight to him. All I'm saying is that if they're going back, if they're legitimately trying to encapsulate the OG Wolverine, I mean, this guy's been through wars and stuff, you know, like he's been he hasn't been hit with an ugly branch. He's been hit with like ugly trees in the face, like for his whole life, you know, and some things just don't heal that well, I guess. And he's also pretty old, at least by time that he's established in the comics, you know, like he's quite old. Now, if they did cast him, or I think there's that other actor from the Kingsman, Egerton, I believe that's his name. That would be also great fan casting. Now, the reason this reason would stand for both of them. I haven't really seen either one of them play roles where their accents are completely wiped out to the point of where not just Americanized, but Wolverine, like, it's not even Americanized, it's Wolverineized. You know what I mean? Like even Hugh Jackman, there's times where he got it, like when he's like just that real, more bestial grunt, or just like not very talkative. That's another thing. And I don't know if that's a reflection as of Hugh Jackman playing it in him in the comics or playing him in the movies. Like because Hugh Jackman is an amazing actor, and you know, like he played the role really well, but he brought like also a soft side, which is great for character development. But then I noticed in the comics, like, man, Wolverine got really chatty. He's no longer like he's more like The Witcher, you know, like a million one ways to like grunt and moan, and you know that means something different. Um, so their accent. I'm not saying that they wouldn't be able to do that. I personally haven't seen them not just get rid of the British accent that they both have, but also adopt a very a gravel voice. You know, even Hugh Jackman, it was tough for him as well. Now, okay, so who do I think? Who else do I think could play the role, or who else do I think that Daniel Radcliffe could play? And this is in the X-Men. I don't think anyone's like put this out there. I think it would be really cool. I would like to see him play Nightcrawler. Like I really think he could be a, you know, like if you really just think about Harry Potter, because that's another thing we have to factor in as well. As much as like actors do want to, or a lot of them, they want to separate themselves from major roles that they've established earlier on in their life, just so they have that birth of room to play more or to do more. So at least their career hasn't like peaked or capped so early in life. There's more to do, more to learn, grow, other roles to tackle. That being said, if you spent a whole portion of your life, a big portion of your life playing a role, playing a character, at a certain point, the characteristics of that character become part of you, or vice versa. But at a certain point, it's interchangeable. You are those their aspects are very very shared. So what I mean is the Harry Potterisms or the things that we connect him to Harry Potter is also things that we actually maybe truthfully connect to him. I don't know him, so I don't also want to make major assumptions. I'm just saying from an acting standpoint, if you've been in the head of another character for so much of your life, at a certain point, even if it's just your mind taking the path of least resistance, some of the traits you either start adopting or the character starts adopting yours, you know, the path of least resistance. So there may be a blurred aspect between the character and the person. Where I'm going with this is that maybe we should also take some of what he's already done and apply that to where he could go. This role that, like, I mean, Wolverine, sure, that would be an amazing acting feat, and I would not be against it. That being said, I'd be much happier seeing him cast in a role that connects to Harry's empathy, Harry's loneliness, solitude, and finding of new friends. Now, a lot of those things are actually kind of lateral to Wolverine, but Wolverine did all those things far, far later in life. And also, Wolverine did that and lost those things over and over and over again, which made him the jaded person that he is. Which also, once again, maybe a tougher sell and a harder role for him to play. But someone like Kurt Wagner playing Nightcrawler, like he's already like insecure. We already saw that from Harry Potter as a little kid, insecure, bullied. Kurt was born blue. He's born blue with 3 toes and 3 fingers on each hand. You know what I mean? Like he was a recluse, a social recluse. He never felt accepted until he went to Xavier's Academy, right? So then he meets peers. He's at school. So like there's interesting lateral type of like connections that I think would really help with not just the physicality of playing Nightcrawler, but I really think that Daniel Radcliffe, because the roles that he's already played, he's already kind of prepared to be in the mind of playing a really good Kurt Wagner Nightcrawler. Now, that also being said, a while back, 2, 3, maybe more than that. I think, let's say 3 years. One of my friends, he was like throwing around some ideas of fan casting, and he threw an idea at me for a Nightcrawler, and we thought a great idea, or he thought a great idea for Nightcrawler would be Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And absolutely, and the reason why I'm bringing that up is I did a drawing to help kind of, you know, flesh that out, you know, like just see what, just kind of put it out there, you know. What I ended up doing, this is something I probably will bring back in I'm going to do in some of my drawing streams. My redraws, drawing on top of photos, making, you know, actors look like characters, things like that. That's something I really, really do enjoy doing. And I'll show you guys an example here. Let's go to the gram. The good old gram. Okay. Welcome to my Instagram. Yeah, as you guys can see, like drawings, like I do really weird like Pokemon stuff, news, comic stuff, of course. Now let's see, where is that fan drawing? Okay, so there it is. There we go. Right? So I took, yeah, like I basically just took Joseph Gordon-Levitt's headshot, and turned him into Nightcrawler. I mean, visibly, you know, even looking at it, I gotta say, like, it's weird because just looking at it, that's really great casting. That does that. I think that would really work as Nightcrawler. But we're also talking ages too. Like there's quite the age difference between Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Daniel Radcliffe. So, and that really matters. Wolverine, you can be a little flexible with that, right? Because his healing powers, they assist with longevity with his life. So he tends to look a lot younger than he really is. So, time wise, they could take any actor really, and kind of meld it in and just kind of make it make sense. They could have a younger looking Wolverine with older looking other actors. I don't think that would work the other way around so much. Like, I don't know if you could have an older Kurt Wagner or Nightcrawler. I don't think you could. I'm trying to think of stories. Like, I can't really think of a time when, like, Kurt has definitely worn the mantle of a leader. Excalibur, if you're an X-Men fan and you have not read Excalibur comics, you have to. You have to. Like, it's amazing. I know a lot of people throw it under the bus because it is very, very different, but they're taking far more magic, and a lot of it is magic from, like, Europe, I guess. Like, there's like King Arthur and man, everything like Shakespearean. Like, when you talk about like the elves and not, jeez, I'm trying not to Google it because I really, really want to try and rely on my memory. So stay tuned for next stream as I continue sitting here trying to remember things, apparently. But Excalibur, I do heavily recommend it if you're a fan of Nightcrawler specifically, because that's where he ends up being a leader quite often, and he develops like really, really cool fighting skills. Aside from his, like, he has like kind of like a Spider-Man-esque fighting style because he's very acrobatic, but then you throw in his teleporting into his combat, and then on top of that, he has a prehensile tail, so he is able to hold on to things with his tail. Usually he'll hold on to another sword, so there's been times where he'll not just be dual wielding, he'll be like wielding 3 swords. And like, that is super awesome. So those are what some of my thoughts on Daniel Radcliffe playing Wolverine. Now, we didn't unpack anything about Hugh Jackman because he is coming back for Deadpool 3, as it's saying here. And they are taking inspiration from a lot of the cartoons, so they are delving into the multiverse as well, or at least to some aspect, because these are 100% the costumes, especially Deadpool. Like, this is... Do I have one I can grab right away? No, not on my wall. That's like 100% right from the graphic novels, from the comics, like belt, everything. So maybe he's exploring the multiverse. Now, the thing is, what they're doing with Deadpool 3 is specifically Deadpool 3 is the vehicle for Wade Wilson to be now introduced or merged with the MCU. The fact that he's meeting Wolverine along the way, it can mean that they're ushering in Hugh Jackman into the MCU. I don't know if that's going to be the case. I think that now that they are playing with a multiverse, there is definitely going to be the want and probably the follow through with a lot of actors playing their previous roles as cameos, or like windows into other universes, or there's a lot of interconnectivity now, and there's a lot of play. The downside of that is that if you're a new fan coming in, you're probably going to be super confused why everyone's, like jeering at certain points, is what it is. Like, they've made such a huge, complex, massive universe with all of their content, and now they've gone beyond and now connecting things from their previous tries and the cartoons and everything, which is great for current fans, absolutely, because then it's stuff that we've already been living and breathing, eating all these years. Have we been waiting for this? I don't know about that. That's maybe something else to maybe unpack on another chat. How enthused am I about the current state of the MCU? How excited am I about what they're doing? I'm probably sound not very excited, so I'm not. That's not the giveaway. I am excited about some of the stuff, but they need to temper. They need to temper where they're going, and they need to really, really reconsider what they're doing. they're like more than 12, 13 years into this journey, and people are falling off the bandwagon. There should be more people on. And I think there's a major, major pivotal reason as to why. A major reason. And no one's really, really, really talking about it. It's connected to fatigue, but a very specific aspect of that. I've even seen articles about that. You know, maybe that's something that we should unpack for next time then. So next time, we'll talk about what's wrong with the MCU. Can we fix all of the MCU problems in 30 minutes? I think so. Thanks so much, guys, for spending your time with me today. I got some things off of my shoulders. I have more that I need to unpack, so there definitely will have to be another time. But thank you for joining me. Once again, I am Shell. Thanks for stopping by, and